How many times did you wake up last night? 2, 3, or maybe 5? Many men over the age of 60 get used to this, believing it is an inevitable part of aging, just like gray hair or wrinkles. But I want you to hear me clearly. This is not normal. Every time you interrupt a deep sleep cycle, your brain doesn't have time to clear out toxins, and your heart is put under a tremendous amount of stress. Today, I am not going to give you empty advice like, just drink less water. We are going to turn to serious science. Our conversation today is based on an in-depth review of randomized clinical trials published in the peer-reviewed journal Experimental and Therapeutic Medicine. Scientists have spent decades studying exactly how stimulating certain points on our body can reprogram the way the bladder works. I will include a link to this study in the description below so you can see the data for yourself. The most striking part of this report is that proper point stimulation can be just as effective as prescription medications, but without the unpleasant side effects like constant dry mouth or dizziness. We are going to break down 3 specific points and 1 powerful exercise that will change your mornings. Before we practice, let's clarify. This isn't magic or mystical energy. It is pure engineering. Think of your bladder as a pump with 2 switches, a brake to hold urine and a gas pedal to release it. The problem is, as we age, the wiring gets crossed. The gas pedal becomes hypersensitive, screaming that you are full when you are actually only at 30% capacity. So, why the leg? Here is the hack. The nerve in your ankle connects to the exact same control center in your spine as your bladder. It's a shared circuit. By stimulating these skin points, we send a signal up the leg that acts like a jamming frequency for those panic urges. It's like recalibrating a motion sensor in a smart home that goes off every time the wind blows. We are simply teaching the system to stop reacting to false alarms. The first and perhaps most important point on our list is SP6, also known as Sanyin gel. Why is it first? Because it was used in absolutely all 4 major clinical trials mentioned in the scientific review. It is the gold standard for non-invasive bladder control. To find it, you need to be precise. Many people miss this point by going too low or too much onto the muscle. Locate the medial malleolus, that is, the prominent inner bone on your ankle. Place the 4 fingers of your hand horizontally, directly above that bone. Ensure your pinky is resting on the center of the ankle bone. Point SP6 is located right above the top edge of your index finger. Crucial detail: it is not on the calf muscle itself, but in the small, tender depression directly behind the edge of the tibia, shin bone. If you press on the bone, you are too far forward. If you are in the thick of the muscle, you are too far back. You want that groove right against the bone. We will use the method of acupressure or deep massage. Press on the point with your thumb. You generally need to apply more pressure here than you think. You are looking for a specific sensation, a slight ache, a feeling of heaviness, distension, or even a weak electric wave traveling up the leg. In science and acupuncture, this is called the De Qi phenomenon. If you just feel skin friction, you aren't pressing deep enough to stimulate the nerve mechanoreceptors. If you feel sharp stabbing pain, you are pressing too hard or hitting a bruise. Aim for that good ache. Massage the point in circular motions clockwise for 2 minutes on each leg. Do not cross your legs while doing this, as it cuts off circulation. Keep the leg you are massaging relaxed. The clinical evidence. This zone is directly connected to nerve segments L4 through S2. In the landmark study by Engberg et al., which was a randomized, placebo-controlled trial, the results were statistically significant. The group that received active stimulation of this point showed a 67.4% reduction in daytime incontinence episodes compared to only 16.6% in the sham, placebo group. For nighttime urges specifically, the data showed that stimulation of SP6 increases bladder capacity. This means your bladder can hold more fluid before the emergency signal is triggered. Instead of waking up at 200 milliliters of fullness, your brain might let you sleep until 350 milliliters. Friends, before we move on to the next, even more amazing point, I want to ask you to do one simple thing. If you find this information helpful, please hit the like button on this video. The second point is ST36, or Zhu Sanli. In the East, it is famously called the point of 100 diseases. historically used to treat exhaustion and boost immunity. However, we are interested in modern research using fMRI, or functional magnetic resonance imaging. A study published in the Journal of Magnetic Resonance Imaging discovered that stimulating ST36 does something remarkable in the brain. It activates the hypothalamus and the prefrontal cortex. Why does this matter for your bladder? The prefrontal cortex is the executive center of your brain. It is responsible for decision-making and inhibition. When a baby is born, they have no prefrontal control, so they void whenever the bladder is full. As we age, this part of the brain learns to say, "No, not yet, hold it." In older adults with nocturia, this inhibition signal often weakens. Stimulating ST36 literally turns on these control centers. It reinforces the neural pathway that tells the bladder to calm down. It helps the brain better distinguish between "I'm full" and "I'm just a little irritated," preventing premature panic. To find it, sit in a chair with your feet flat on the floor. Place your palm over your kneecap, patella. Spread your fingers slightly. Your ring finger will land in a small depression on the outside of the shin bone. To confirm you are in the right spot, keep your finger there and lift your foot up and down. Flex your ankle. You should feel a muscle popping up and down under your finger. That is the tibialis anterior muscle. You need to work confidently here. Research shows that to achieve an effect at a deep level, affecting the deep peroneal nerve, the depth of the impact matters. Use deep, digging pressure with your thumb or the knuckle of your index finger for 2 minutes. This point is also strongly linked to reducing systemic inflammation and cortisol, stress levels. Since high cortisol at night can irritate the bladder lining, this point works continuously on 2 fronts: neurological control and chemical reduction of stress. Before we move on to our third and gentlest point, I have a small request. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click that button now. We are dedicated to analyzing only proven, scientifically based methods for improving quality of life after 60. Also, I am very interested in the geography of our viewers. Please write in the comments, what country are you watching from? And tell me, is acupuncture or acupoint massage recognized as official medicine in your healthcare system, or is it still considered alternative? Let's see how different countries approach this. The third point is Ki3, often called Tai Chi. In the scientific review, it is mentioned as one of the key points for strengthening the functions of the pelvic organs. While SP6 and ST36 focus on the nerves and brain, Ki3 is often associated with the vascular and autonomic regulation of the kidneys themselves. It is located in the deep depression between your inner ankle bone, medial malleolus, and the Achilles tendon, that thick cord that goes from the heel up to the calf. Unlike ST36, we will not press here with all our might. The area is sensitive. Use a gentle squeezing or pinching motion between your thumb and index finger, as if you are lightly pinching the Achilles tendon from both sides, focusing the pressure into the hollow space. This improves the regulation of the nerve endings responsible for the calmness of your bladder at night. Spend 1 minute on each leg doing this. It is an excellent cool-down point to use right before you get into bed, as it has a generally grounding and relaxing effect on the nervous system. This is perhaps the safest and gentlest point for seniors. In Western anatomical terms, this area allows access to the tibial nerve as it passes behind the medial malleolus, but it is less muscular than the ST36 area. Its main task here is the regulation of autonomic reactions and improving local blood circulation in the zone associated with urine retention. Poor circulation in the pelvis can lead to tissue hypoxia, lack of oxygen, which makes the bladder muscle irritable and spasm-prone. Now, I will share a secret with you that general practitioners often miss, but cardiologists and nephrologists know well. Why can you go 4 hours during the day without the bathroom, but run every 2 hours at night? The reason often isn't your bladder at all. It is peripheral edema, or fluid accumulation. As we age, our venous system, the veins that pump blood back up to the heart, becomes less efficient. The valves in the leg veins weaken. Throughout the day, as you stand or sit, gravity pulls fluid out of your blood vessels and into the surrounding tissues of your legs and ankles. This is called third spacing. You might not even notice it, maybe just a light mark from your socks or shoes feeling a bit tight in the evening. However, the moment you lie down in bed, gravity is no longer holding that water in your ankles. The fluid rushes back from the tissues into the bloodstream. This effectively increases your blood volume. Here is the critical part. Your heart detects this sudden increase in blood volume. It thinks, whoa, there is too much fluid in the system. This is dangerous for blood pressure. To protect itself, the heart releases a hormone called atrial natriuretic peptide, ANP. ANP travels directly to your kidneys and gives a command: dump fluid immediately. Your kidneys obey and start processing urine at a rapid rate, sometimes 3 to 4 times faster than during the day. This condition is called nocturnal polyuria. You aren't waking up because your bladder is broken. You are waking up because your kidneys are working overtime to save your heart from fluid overload. This is why our next exercise is the most important in the entire set. The Figure 4 routine, bedtime drainage and preparation. This exercise is the crown jewel of our method today because it physically reverses the gravity problem before you go to sleep. Now, let's perform the Figure 4 complex correctly. The setup. Lie on your back on a firm surface, a yoga mat or a firm mattress. Raise your legs and lean them against the wall. Your body should form an L shape. Stay here for 5 minutes initially. This passive elevation allows the accumulated interstitial fluid to drain down towards the lymph nodes in the groin and abdomen. Now bend your right leg and place the right outer ankle just above your left knee. The left leg remains straight up the wall. Your legs now look like the number 4. This opens up the hip and relaxes the pelvic floor. Active stimulation. In this position, your SP6 point on the right leg is perfectly accessible and the muscle is relaxed. Massage it right now while in this pose for 2 minutes. Because the leg is elevated, the nervous system is already in a state of rest and digest, making the stimulation more potent. Repeat for the other leg. Lymphatic milking. After you have massaged the point, do a milking motion. Use both hands to grip the calf muscle. With moderate pressure, stroke firmly from the heel toward the knee, downwards if your legs are up the wall. You are manually pushing the stagnant fluid out of the tissue channels. Timing is everything. You must do this exercise at least 1 to 1.5 hours before bed. This is a strict rule. Why? Because once you push that fluid back into circulation, your kidneys will process it into urine within about 45 to 60 minutes. You want to trigger that urge while you are still awake. You want to go to the bathroom and expel that phantom water before you turn off the lights. If you do this exercise right before sleep, you will wake up in an hour. Timing is key. But wait, there are a couple of hidden factors that 99% of people never think to connect with their midnight trips. It's not just what you drink, but when. Think of your hydration like a curve. Your kidneys function best when hydrated, but they slow down at night. You should aim to drink 75% of your total water in the morning and afternoon, before 4 p.m., leaving only 25% for the evening. If you try to catch up on your water intake after dinner because you forgot to drink during the day, you are essentially pre-ordering a wake-up call at 2 a.m. Second, remember that water follows solutes, salt and sugar, like a magnet. This is osmosis. If you have a salty dinner or a sugary dessert, the concentration of solutes in your blood rises. Your body holds onto fluid to dilute that salt. It will hold that fluid tightly until you lie down and your blood pressure stabilizes. Then, it flushes it all into your bladder at once. Furthermore, high insulin levels from a sugary evening snack prevent the kidneys from excreting sodium, leading to even more water retention. If you want to indulge in something sweet or salty, do it at lunch. Let your dinner be neutral, lean proteins and vegetables, to prevent this magnet effect on your bladder. I would be dishonest with you if I said that points would solve all your problems. We must be realistic and data-driven. Nocturia can be a symptom of underlying conditions that require a doctor's intervention. Diabetes, type 1 or 2. If you are constantly thirsty and your mouth is dry, this could be a sign of hyperglycemia. The kidneys are working overtime trying to flush out excess glucose, taking water with it, osmotic diuresis. Sleep apnea. This is a huge, often ignored factor. If you snore heavily or stop breathing, your oxygen levels drop. This stress causes a spike in ANP, the hormone we discussed earlier. Sleep apnea causes night urination. You wake up to pee, but the root cause is that you stopped breathing. Prostate issues, BPH. For men, if the stream is weak, hesitating, or if there is no sense of relief after using the bathroom, the prostate may be mechanically blocking the urethra. The bladder never empties completely, retention, so it fills up again quickly. If you recognize these symptoms, please consult a urologist. The acupressure methods we discussed are a powerful complementary therapy, but they are not a replacement for structural or hormonal medical treatment. Let's summarize. Your new sleep protocol looks like this. An hour and a half before bed, do the figure 4 exercise at the wall with SP6 point massage and calf drainage. Additionally, during the evening, perform a deep massage of ST36 below the knee and a gentle squeezing of KI3 at the heel. In the studies, participants did this for 4 to 6 weeks to achieve a stable result. Give your body time to adjust. Don't expect a miracle on the very first night, although many feel relief very quickly. Friends, I know how exhausting the lack of normal sleep can be. I am here to support you. Please don't hesitate to ask questions in the comments. If anything is unclear about finding the points or the technique, write to me. I will try to answer all your questions as best as I can with the strength and knowledge I have. Sleep soundly, take care of your heart, and I'll see you in the next video.